I'm going to give you my top 5 most athletic pro hoopers today. Coming in at number 5, we got Anthony Edwards. My man is around, got to be 230, listed at 6'4", might even be 6'5", and I'm not taking into account length and height for this. It's pure athleticism. But the way my guy moves at that size is insane. You see the poster dunks. The vert has got to be low to mid 40s. At 230, to have that bounce is impressive already, but it's the agility. It's the quickness he has at that size. It's the fluidity. It's the body control. The dude is just an overall athlete. If you wanted to move him higher, I'd be fine with that, but he's got to be in my top 5. Coming in at number 4, and this just shows how athletic the league is, to have this guy at number 4 who, man, you can make the argument that he's one of the most athletic ever. Zach LaVine coming in at number 4. He could be higher, but the top 3 are just so athletic that I couldn't put him above those guys. But Zach has, combine, we're talking 41-inch vertical, but with workouts where there's not a 15-foot limit where you give him momentum, he's a 46. So he goes up 5 inches when you give him momentum because he's a gazelle. He's not just pure power. He's that gazelle where he's going to benefit off a little bit more momentum coming into his jump. Jumps pretty well off 2 feet, but jumps insanely well off 1 foot. But it's not just that, because there's a lot of guys who can jump in that 41 to 46 range. It's his quickness. He's got such a good combination of speed, where we're talking end to end, get up and down. You'll see him just get out in transition like a wide receiver, and the dude can really, really run. But it's not just the speed, it's the explosiveness. Look at the first step explosiveness. When we talk about acceleration for basketball players, we're looking at step 1, step 2, step 3. I don't care your end-to-end speed. If you have those 3 steps, now you have leverage. Now I can put somebody in jail, right? I can use my body to get in front of them. So there's some guys that don't have great speed, but those first 3 steps are so explosive that they can make a career off of that alone. Next up, number 3, and shoot, he could be number 1. If you say I'm crazy for putting him at number 3 and not 1, I'm fine with that. Your boy, Jalen Green. Jalen Green is, I did a video breakdown on YouTube about how he's so similar to MJ. He's the closest thing to MJ that we've ever seen athletically. I'm not saying he's MJ. I'm saying from an athleticism standpoint, he's the same height, he's the same length, very similar vertical, but they jump well out of any scenario. They jump off 1, they jump off 2, the fluidity of movement, the way that they move, they both internally rotate really well. You'll see him jump with so much internal rotation, knees diving in, but that's not valgus. It's just hip internal rotation. So the biomechanists would freak out when they see him jump, but they shouldn't. And he's very, very similar to Michael Jordan, but he's got this quickness. He's got this pop to his step. He doesn't sink into his joints when he goes to make a step. He's got that pop, right? That RSI, reactive strength index. The quickness, the explosiveness, the pop to his step, the vertical, the ability to do it off 1 and off 2. He is one of the most athletic in the game and one of the most athletic I've seen on a basketball court. Coming in at number 2 is the most athletic human of all time on a basketball court, in my opinion. The reason he's not at number 1 is just because he hasn't played this year due to injury, and his name is Zion Williamson. I think he's the most athletic player ever to step on a basketball court. I really do. And the reason is at that size and, let's say his rookie year, I think he's still playing at even though he's pretty lean, I think he's 285, something like that. So to be that big and to move like that, the amount of force production is insane. I would say that he's the best absolute force producer, right? Relative force production is force production relative to your body weight. So small guys are typically going to be better there. But Zion's absolute force production of just the pure amount of force you put in the floor, it's got to be the best of all time. The only guy that I can think of that might compete would be Shaq, like prime Shaq, Orlando or early LA Shaq. His force production was insane because his body weight was so high and then he was still jumping high, running fast. LeBron's up there too, for sure. But Zion is bigger than LeBron and jumps a little bit higher than LeBron. and also jumps way better than LeBron off 2 feet. They have similar bounce off 1. I would take Zion's by a little bit, probably a couple inches higher, but Zion's 2-foot jump is significantly better than LeBron. The other thing that Zion has though, and this is not just about dunking, this is what I want you guys to understand. Zion has insane agility. I'm trying to tell you, man, when he gets in the lane, his change of direction and agility is so sharp. He'll have these little like spin moves. His body awareness, his body control is crazy. He has these coordinated layups where he'll jump high and like come out like point guard stuff. And people, it gets overlooked just because people are looking for his highlight dunks. But the way that this dude moves from an agility standpoint is wild. To be 285 moving like that is crazy. And then his second jump, right? You'll see like he'll go up and tip it and come down and just spring off. Like his RSI is so high. RSI is like a gazelle thing, not a tiger thing. And he's a tiger with gazelle type of spring. And so that's what's so rare. You don't see heavy guys being really, really good with that spring, that RSI. They might still jump high, but it's because they have so much muscular power. But he's that beautiful combo of the tiger, the power, and the gazelle, the spring. And so if he was healthy, if he was playing right now, he would probably be my number 1. But because he's out, that brings me to the most athletic basketball player in the entire world, Ja Morant. It's got to be. The dude's got an insane vert. He's got crazy speed. He's got great agility. He's got the body awareness. He's got the quickness. He ticks off every single box when it comes to athleticism. You got a guy who's, I don't know what he's listed. He's probably listed at like 6'2", but I think in real life he's like 6'1", and he's thin. Like this is a small guy. Like this is Allen Iverson. People appreciated how small Allen Iverson was and how much he did and how he drove the lane and dominated with quickness and athleticism and got knocked around. Like people don't give Ja Morant that credit just because he jumps so high and dunks over people. People assume that he's like a pretty big guy. He's basically Allen Iverson. And he's going through the lane and postering bigs. Like he's dominating off his athleticism at 6'1", which is very, very rare. And his movement fluidity is really good. His elasticity is insane. He doesn't have as much pure twitch as like a De'Aaron Fox. He has some good twitch, but like a De'Aaron Fox has more pure twitch, pure quickness. But Ja, you'll see like there's situations where he'll just back it out. Like he'll just come back and then he'll run downhill at you and do that little cross jab because his speed is so good. And then his vert is just insane. He's so elastic. He's so fluid. If you see like the videos of him dunking in warm-ups where like the arms are like way up above his head, all the stuff that we talk about with jump mechanics, his fluidity is just so insane.